Okay, everyone, this is Coffee with the Geek. This is the July 2014 session, and I have, as usual, a good friend and colleague with me today, and this is Mary Kovach. And
Hello.
Mary's a technology integrator and staff development coordinator, that's the official title, for our model schools CSLO area here. She also works in Lancaster as what we call an FTE, which is kind of a part-time tech integrator. So Lancaster is a school. She specializes in a lot of things, but one of her focuses are website design, Interwrite, My Big Campus, art and music applications, ELA and library, Google Apps, elementary science kits, and STEAM. Hey everyone, this is Coffee with the Geek. This is former the library, 2014 media specialist, and education websites coordinator. As usual, a good friend and colleague with me today. And this is from somewhere. Mary's. There we go.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I had the.
We got it double.
Okay.
All right, so Mary, within kind of that introduction that I gave you, just tell me a little bit about your role, maybe that we didn't talk about, or just some other things you do. Just give us a sense of your role.
Sure. So my background is as a library media specialist, K-3, and then also I was a website manager coordinator for WNED TV, which is the public TV station in this area, for their Think Bright website. And doing that, I kind of made my way into the BOCES realm here.
Those were kind of nice tie-ins and nice fits. And WNED, I know, has been doing a lot of things, and they've been really great partners in education.
Absolutely.
Tell us from your vantage point now, you've been at CSLO or Tech Integration for probably, what, close to 10 years now?
Close to. I started in 2005 at BOCES and just took 1 year off to raise my wonderful son, Benjamin.
What are the trends you're seeing from your years in schools, and maybe even your trends as now that you're a parent? Right.
Well, I think that right now, going Google, which is appropriate, seems to be really big. So trying to do everything cloud-based. A lot of districts, Lancaster included, where I am 3 days a week, they're getting Chromebooks in their classrooms. So I think that's a really big push, trying to do everything based in the cloud. So now I'm thinking to myself, how can I do everything without needing a hard drive if I need to? So I think that's something that's really big right now.
So are you seeing that as a positive advance?
I think it is, because it's not device specific. Anything that you can do in your Chrome browser, you can do on any device. Those are kind of the things that I'm looking for right now. Not that you can do everything yet, but I think we're getting closer to that.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty exciting. Are there any other trends that you're seeing or keeping an eye on?
Right. So obviously, flipping the classroom is something that is really big. So flipping when teachers will record their lectures, and that will be, for lack of a better term, the homework part of the assignment, and then they'll do other work, which would normally be the practice, group work in class. And I see it working for a lot of different subject areas. Some teachers might just try some lessons done that way. So obviously, any of the video editing training software that I've done in the past are still very important now. And another big piece of that is students having their own devices, having them at home and also bringing them into school. So bring your own device initiatives, now that more Wi-Fi is available in schools. Hopefully it will be available to all schools soon for students to have in school. Allows for different delivery of lessons. So for example, using things that are more student delivered, such as nearpod.com, using sites like Infuse Learning, where students can use their device or any device to give feedback to teachers. So again, you're still using your interactive whiteboards, whatever that might be, and I think that's another way in which my role has changed somewhat. Yes, I train on interactive whiteboards, but how can you bring those other pieces in as well, so you're delivering it right to, literally, into the hands of students, and how can students then share with you up onto the big screen as well?
This being something new, and I'm sure you've probably used it maybe a little bit or just starting to use it with students. Just maybe anecdotally, are you seeing an increased engagement, increased maybe achievement with these new trends?
Right. I think students take a lot more ownership of their own learning and just responsibility. I think the digital citizenship is greater because students don't feel like this is some kind of contraband that they have. It's a tool they can use for learning. So I think it really is beneficial when students are raised in that kind of culture. They see it that way.
One of the projects that I started working with you on, and you really kind of took the lead on it, was this kind of historical, it was the Hull House
Yes.
project. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Just kind of give us an overview of that project, because I think that was a really, successful project in a lot of ways, and I think it linked old-time history with new types of technology, and really even put things like Google Earth into the equation. Can you tell us about that project and the role technology played in it?
Sure. So the Hull House is an historic house in Lancaster, New York. So it's near the corners of Genesee and Pavement Roads. Now it's been there. I've known about it probably my whole life, but in recent years, since I was at WNED, they started really doing a lot more in the education realm to try to promote this to schools as a destination for field trips and opportunity to learn about local history. So I worked a lot with some fourth grade teachers at the William Street School and the library media specialists. Shelley Stoffel recently retired. Congratulations, Shelley. She also has done a lot of research into the Hull House. So we collaborated on that research into the actual family members that she has done. So bringing it into a first-person perspective for students. So students would research colonial life in general, and then also find out some information about these actual members of the Hull family before they actually went on a field trip to the Hull House itself. And some of the technology applications that I use to go along with that are Google Earth to create a Google timeline of all the different places where the Hulls traveled. So starting with Warren and Polly when they were born in Connecticut, where he fought in the Revolutionary War, and their travels across New York State. So adding that into a format that is not just a timeline of events, but more of an interactive map for students to see. And the idea of that, too, is students then could extend that map, add their own place marks for where the Hull descendants ended up. So each student was assigned a different Hull family descendant, and some traveled as far away as California. And just even to show within Google Earth, fly to those locations, that really made a bigger impact for students to see it on that sort of a map. And other applications that I did, I created different versions of an ebook that students could follow along with, and Andy helped with this as well. Sort of a virtual field trip for students. So some background information, as well as some videos and interactive images of artifacts that are actually in the Hull House, which then became part of their project. So what kind of tool may you have used if you were Polly Hull, or if you were Rebecca Hull growing up in the Hull House? So I think that the docents and also the teachers said the students got so much more out of it having that background as well. So I'm thankful to those teachers and to Shelley and Carol, definitely.
Yeah, what I really liked about that, it really did pull together a collaboration of different entities within the historical communities and technologies and field, going there with a field trip, but also giving kids the ebooks and the iBooks and things to work with. So I think that really tied together a great, success story with EdTech.
Right. Even if at first, for some students, let's say it was, a novelty, or when the iPads were new, or Google Earth, maybe they've only used a little bit. But then I think it really led them into that better understanding.
Mary, you've always been kind of our go-to person for music and art with your background. You have a pretty, wide background from librarian sciences to, again, music and art. What are some music and art applications or programs that you're seeing, positive effects in school?
Right, absolutely. I mean, I still use any of the Adobe products. I think those are sort of the standard as far as art goes and video production. I think they're great tools to have. Now that they have the Creative Cloud for students, I think that's a great asset. Students can always get updates in the program. educator students can also get some space in the cloud to kind of try out the website tools that they have and their design tools, which is interesting. And as far as music goes, GarageBand is something that's very widely used still. Obviously, GarageBand, you need some kind of a Mac device, iOS device to use that. But still, I think a lot of schools, maybe that are even PC-based, will have Mac Labs for music. So definitely in my regular life, I use those and anything that's a Finale product. Obviously, the Finale Notepad is free. Anybody can download that, but just the higher versions of Finale, they kind of give you a taste of what more you can do. So those I use in my regular professional life, my personal life as well. Also being a music minister, I use a lot of those things, and use Dropbox for collaboration. I think that's a great collaboration tool for that as well. Kind of what I'm looking at now is ways that you can do these things that would be in the cloud. So let's say something that wasn't device specific, but as long as you had access to your Chrome browser from any of your devices, what are some things that you could do from a Chromebook, from your Mac, from a PC? So Pixlr is a great one. It's actually integrated right into the Google Drive right now. But before that I was actually using it through the website, pixlr.com/editor, which actually my husband Wayne, he's listening in, he initially told me about. So it's a kind of a way of doing those Photoshop type things without actually having the full Photoshop. So I think that tools like that are great. Trying to figure out ways that you can save images right into the cloud, manipulate them in Pixlr. Some music applications that I'm kind of playing with in the cloud are NoteFlight for music notation, which also you can integrate into your Chrome apps. And then there's an app into Google Drive called UJam, which is kind of interesting because what you can do is you can write a single line of melody, let's say in NoteFlight, and then you can export that as a WAV file to bring into UJam. So you have a melody, and then you can kind of play with that. They give you suggested chord structures and styles. So again, that could be another way where students can do these things, but do that all in the cloud.
It seems that mobility there's real power in that concept all over, and I hadn't realized it was coming to music and arts as well.
Right, and those are right, into the Google Drive, which I'm really happy to see. For students who don't have, let's say, those kinds of devices or the money for those kinds of programs at home.
Do you think from your experiences, I mean, are schools starting to use these? Are they on schools' radar, or are they still that trend that's still out there?
I think they're on the radar because a lot of people are starting to add their own apps and their own add-ons into Google Drive. So I think that once people really explore what's out there, they'll use those. But it's just, again, it's getting into a new process, new way of doing things. But I definitely see a lot of benefits.
Okay. Different question now. Who or what inspires you, let's just say professionally?
Okay, well, Andrew Wheelock inspires me. But as you know, the Sarge, Darlinda McTuck, she's a great inspiration. Everything she's done research professionally, any anecdotes from her personal life, always inspire me.
Yeah, we've got a lot of inspiring people that we work with.
Right, and all the time I meet teachers who just surprise me and inspire me with just their dedication to their job. They'll take something they learn in a workshop and go and use it right away, find new ways to do it, and then find ways to teach that to other people and just really make it meaningful to them. So I think that's when I really know that maybe I've done my job or I'm just working with amazing people. And I think you've met a lot of the Lancaster Tech integrators. They're great as well. And did you know what, Jill, she was actually my library media specialist, Jill Santoro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So when I was in middle school, so she takes complete credit for me. But she was inspirational too, being a librarian, and I think that's great.
Yeah, Jill embraces a lot of the technologies and is really open and willing to share, which again I think is our kind of goal as staff developers. Is you want to develop not just people learning something, but sharing something and then coming back and sharing to you. And I think Definitely Jill's a good example of that.
Right, and Robin and Jason as well are just great, great people to work with. So.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready for the Speed Geek questions?
Sure.
Okay. This is I don't know if you can see it on here, but oh no, it's really hard to see. So I've got this app called oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? It is called, I think it's Decide Now. And it's an app, yeah, that's what it's called. Decide Now is the name of the app. And you can set up your own Decide Nows if you want to. So say, for example, you want to go out to dinner with the family. You can click a Decide Now and put all the different restaurants in the area, and it'll spin. So it's kind of like a magic spinner. And again, I need to get it so you can see it. But here we go. This is I have to set up my Decide Now. So these are my Speed Geek questions, and I've set these up. So these are all just random. So I'm going to give you 3. So here goes. I'm going to hit the spin button. I know you probably can't hear it, but here it goes, and it's spinning, and it's going to come down to Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Okay, how come?
Well, I grew up loving Star Wars. I think the first movie that I saw at the drive-in was Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
They came out around when I was 5, so that's the first movie I remember seeing at the drive-in. My mom, who was a great inspiration to me personally, she's a Star Trek fan, so I mean she's great. So we're kind of on opposite ends there. But just growing up, we had friends. I guess I don't know if it's more of a boy thing or not, but we didn't really know. But we grew up with boy friends, not boyfriends, but boy friends, who are really into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And now my own son Benjamin, he's 4 years old. And he loves Star Wars, so obviously we're really into that. I put little outfits together for him and everything. So, and he has my lightsaber, and he has his own now too. So.
Awesome. Yeah, those lightsabers lasted forever, didn't they?
Yeah.
And now they've got a whole bunch of new outlets for Star Wars. I know there's some really good cartoons.
Yeah, we watched the Clone Wars. He likes that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're really good and more age appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, Speed Geek question number 2. We're just spin the dial here, and okay. Favorite comic book hero?
I would have to say Wolverine.
How come?
He's just kind of a rebel. He's kind of a lone wolf, for lack of a better term. My brother Eddie was always a big fan of the X-Men, and Wolverine was kind of like a stay of the comic book world for me, so I've kind of gotten into the X-Men from that.
All right, here goes last one. And iOS or Android?
iOS. I have so many iOS devices. I'm married to a diehard Mac man, so everything we do is pretty much iOS. My son loves iOS, although I have considered getting an Android device as well, since I have all things Google.
Yeah, you kind of have to, and you kind of want to dip your toes into the water, yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you, Mary. Before we go, can you share any social networking stuff? Where are you on Twitter? Can people connect with you there?
Sure, they can do that. Just Mary Catherine Kovach. They can just look me up that way. You'll see me because I have a little, and I can put it in here as well. You'll see a little Simpsons version of myself. Let me see if I can just, bring that up here. So it's twitter.com/MaryCatherineKO.
All right.
So just put that in here into the chat. Okay. Now this is my second attempt at the whole Twitter thing. It's a recently new account that I have, so yeah, definitely connect with me and share with me what you want.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mary. You're doing great stuff. You're an inspiration to me too. So
thanks,
keep up the
Andy.
good work, and we'll see you around the office.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
See ya.
Bye.